And I just want to say to you that if you feel that you are not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you're not loved, I just want to remind you of the fact that Jesus really loves you. People do not love unconditionally, but God, His love is unconditional. Hi, it's Kenzie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Like a week ago, I was really upset. I was having a hard time. I was overwhelmed in my life. I was having a breakdown, and then in this breakdown, I turned to the Lord in the midst of chaos. If you don't, things are just going to be much worse for you in that moment. I mean, it just helps to turn to Jesus so that He can fill you up with all of His amazing characteristics, so that He can give you peace, so that He can take away the anxiety, the fear, and the sadness. So in my moment of sadness, I turned to Him, and it was like I was a mess. Tears were streaming down my face. Actually, that whole week was horrible. I had a really bad week, and I reached my breaking point, and I just started having a breakdown at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I turned my camera on, and I'm like, I've got to share this. I've got to share this. The reason I wanted to share it was because I knew that there was someone out there who really needed to hear what God was telling me. I just knew that in that moment, I was not alone. Of course, I was alone physically, but I knew that I wasn't really alone because there were so many people going through the same thing. And I thought, if I'm going through this, other people are going through this. So I really wanted to share what I was going through at that time and what God told me. But the video was such a mess because I was having a breakdown. I was crying and I looked horrible, and I was sniffing, and there was like snot everywhere, and it was really gross. So I decided to make the video when I was feeling better. So here I am. I'm much better now. And so I just want to share this with you in case you are in that really sad place where your heart is just broken. And my heart was my heart was broken. I could feel the pain of my heart breaking, and I didn't know what to do. And so the reason my heart was so broken was because I just felt like I was not good enough, that that no matter what I do, things whatever I do is not good enough, and that I was not valued. And so I just felt unworthy of even God's love. And I realized that I put myself under pressure to be a perfect Christian so that God would love me. And I just want to say to you that if you feel that you are not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you're not loved, I just want to remind you of the fact that Jesus really loves you. During that week where I was really struggling, I went to church, and the pastor was speaking on the topic of how we as Christians really try to be perfect, and then by our own efforts we fail. God doesn't say do this and this and then I will love you. He already loves you. He already loves you just as you are. He takes you as you are, and then He does all the work in you to change you. But it is by His power that He does all of that. So whatever is burdening you right now, whatever's heavy on your heart, I want to encourage you to give that to the Lord, because it's weighing you down, but it does not weigh Him down. He knows what to do. He knows what to do in your life. And so I realized that I wasn't really living in faith because I didn't really fully trust that God was going to take care of me. Because I sit and pray and say, okay, God, please provide this and this and this. Please help me with this and this and this. And then I turn around and try my best to get all of these things done. And I'm like, I have to do it. I have to do it, but I'm not really trusting God to do it for me. And so if you're in that place, I just want to remind you that He will provide for you, and you need to trust Him. And for Him, it's nothing. Your problems are nothing to Him. Your problems are overwhelming you and you're drowning in them. One of the biggest reasons why I was feeling really stressed out was because I felt like I don't have anyone to turn to or to talk to, and I don't know what to do because I have all of these problems and I have no solutions. And I felt really bad about myself because I normally have a solution for everything. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I have a sense of pride and arrogance, like, look at what I've done. But then I realized that it's really all about him and what he has done. When I was at church during worship, I was asking the Lord to reveal to me what I need to do. Because I was, having the night before, I had a breakdown and I was really struggling and I was stressed out about all of the problems that I had. And so I said, Lord, please reveal to me and tell me, what is it that I need to do? And I had a vision. I closed my eyes and I was worshiping the Lord. And I had a vision of a giant cross in the middle of the room, the cross that Jesus was crucified on. And then that's when I realized that symbolized Jesus himself, that I needed to take the focus off of myself and focus on him. And then I remembered how all-powerful he really is. And I felt, I started to feel a lot better. And so I just want to remind you that God is not like a person. You might feel like you have to earn people's love. And unfortunately, that is the case because people do not love unconditionally. But God, his love is unconditional. He loves unconditionally.
Romans 8 verse 38, for I am certain that nothing can separate us from his love.
And if you make a mistake or do something that you're not supposed to, or you fail every single day to live up to the standard that he's called you to, he's not going to hate you. He's a merciful God. He loved you even before you made all of these mistakes.
Romans 5 verse 8, but God has shown us how much he loves us. It was while we were still sinners that Christ died for us.
And so he already loves you as you are. He doesn't say, okay, well, do this and this and then I'll love you. You know what I mean? Like it might be like that with people. I experience the same thing as well. It's like you feel like you do so much so that you can earn their love and their respect and all that kind of stuff, and it's still not good enough for the people. It's not like that with God. You don't have to drain yourself to try and just go as you are. Turn to God as you are, and he will be there for you. He won't turn you away, or he won't give you the cold shoulder and say, I don't want this person.
And 4 verse 9, Abraham believed God, and because of his faith, God accepted him as righteous. Galatians 3 verse 6, he believed God, and because of his faith, God accepted him as righteous. Galatians 2 verse 16, yet we know that a person is put right with God only through faith in Jesus Christ, never by doing what the law requires.
So I realized that as a Christian, I made the big mistake of thinking that you have to do specific things in order to be loved by him. And it's just because of the negative experiences that I've had in my life where I felt like, everything I do is not good enough. But for him, he already loves you, and there's nothing in this world that can separate you from his love. And if you have faith in him, he accepts you as righteous. And so you are good enough the way you are. He created you the way that you are, and he understands you, and he knows your heart, and he cannot misjudge you. And you are good enough for him. You're good enough for him. And I think that's all. I think that's all I wanted to cover. That's all I wanted to speak on. Well, I spoke about a lot, but then I just that's how I summarized it. So don't feel under pressure from other people, or especially from yourself, because we really do put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We look into the mirror and we just criticize. And so what was that the pastor said? Don't put an expectation on yourself that not even God put on you. You know what I mean? God's not saying, let's see how powerful you are. Let's see what you can do. Be perfect. No, that's why he sends Jesus Christ to die on the cross for our sins in the first place, because he knew that we could not be perfect. And, he wants to demonstrate his power in your love. He wants to demonstrate his power in your life. So don't get in the way of God working in your life because you're trying to do everything, because you have you don't have enough faith in him, and you start to doubt him because your actions have failed. And so, yeah, I feel much better now knowing that, and I hope that this makes you feel better knowing that, or being reminded of that. And yeah, it doesn't matter what other people say, although people's words sting and people's actions really hurt you. Turn to him, because he soothes that pain, and he makes it better. And so that's really all that I had to say. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. I'm rushing off because actually I've had a pretty busy day, and I've had a busy week, which I'm happy about. Since I actually since God told me in multiple different ways that all I needed to do was trust him, since he told me that, things have been much better. I have not cried once this week. I'm happy, I'm productive, things are flowing in, things are going according to plan. And that is because I just decided to rest. I decided to rest and give it all to him. And then things started happening. Like the things that I had prayed for started happening in my life. Like the exact things that I prayed for, the opportunities that I prayed for started, doors started opening, things really started happening. And that is because I just said, okay, I trust you. I can't do it, but you can, God. You might not be able to do it, but he can. So don't feel bad about the fact that you can't do things in your life, because he can. Whatever you can't do, he can, because his power is greatest when you are weak. Speaking of weakness, I'm really feeling weak right now because I haven't eaten in a while and I'm starving. So I will see you in my next video. Bye.